As we pointed out earlier, the cap dropped $15.7 million, exacerbated by the fact that it usually goes up by at least $10 million a year. It has every year since 2013. That's $25.7 million. That has caused teams to begin the process of moving on from veteran players. Now, some of these guys would have been cut anyway, but Emmanuel Sanders, would he have been cut by the Saints after only 1 year with the team? Probably not. Quan Alexander, a guy that arrived late last year. Now, he had a big cap number for this year. He probably would have still been in trouble anyway, but when you're trying everything you can to get under the cap, these are the people who stand out, and these are the guys who are going to be gone, and it's going to continue. Riley Reif, remember last year the Vikings were going to let him go. They reworked the contract, and after the season when they gave him $1 million bonus because he fell just short of a playing time incentive, I wish I would have said it, because my thought was, yeah, they're making good with him now because they know they're going to dump him going into 2021, and he was released yesterday. So this is going to continue into next week and beyond as teams consistently scour the roster. Who are the guys that we can move on from and create some cap space, save some cash, and replace with someone who dollar for dollar is a better value than the guy we have? It is a cold, heartless aspect of the business. I asked that question last week to Rick Spielman, the Vikings GM, in just very generic fashion. How do you balance this? How do you do it? He said, that's what we do. That's our obligation. And that's the kind of callous you have to have on your soul when it comes to saying, this guy's out, this guy's in. This guy's out, this guy's in. That's the way it goes for NFL teams.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, at some point, they just have to look at them as entities and not people, you know. And then, of course, when you make that decision as the entity, you try to switch it back to, okay, now let me be a person and call this guy and tell them how grateful I was for that time and all. It's a delicate balance for head coaches and GMs. You know, it's not easy. It's a special skill set there, too. You know, hey, Kevin Zeitler, you know, on that little graphic we had, the guard for the Giants. I mean, he's still really damn good. I mean, he's one of the better guards in football still. I mean, I'm not saying top 5, but he's top 10-ish. He's really, like, still a powerhouse. There's a lot of good play left in him. You know, so that's like that to lose to that guy to be on the street right now. I think in a normal year, I'd have a hard time thinking a guy like that would have been cut, to your point. Mike, I want to ask you this. Like, I have like two feelings with this. It seems like we're going to be in a hectic offseason, right? I really do. I don't know how this is going to work. I think you're going to have certain big-time players, you know, sit here early on in free agency and expect to get some sort of big offer, and it's not going to be to their liking, and they're going to kind of wait it out and what's going to happen as we go there. So I love that part of it. I mean, it gives us to talk about. It's going to make these teams work and have to be creative, and we're going to see a lot of changeover. That's really cool. But also, like, I don't know, Mike, and again, tell me. You know, we just spent a segment talking about, whoa, Jerry Jones knows what's in the future. Yeah, it's a lot of damn money and cash, right? Between the gambling and then the new TV deals and all of that, to where there's a part of me that wants to be like, you know, can't the owners take on this burden? Why do the players got to make less money? I mean, they're still playing football. You know, again, they're billionaires, and they're going to make more money, as we know, and they know what's coming down the road. So I guess there's a part of me, too, that gets a little bit pissed off, sorry, Liverpool, and getting, like, where I just go, why are the players going to have to get crushed through this? And that bothers me. So go ahead, correct me or give me your stuff here.
Two things to remember.
Yeah.
One, last year the players got 100 cents on the dollar of everything they were supposed to earn. Nothing was put into escrow. Other sports leagues, they put money into escrow. Let's wait and see. How are we going to deal with the losses? None of the pandemic losses were absorbed by the players in the year of the pandemic. That was the negotiation that was done last year to get the doors open, to get the season on track.
Right, but let me
losses,
okay, all right, I was just saying, other sports didn't play full seasons either, though. The NFL did.
Right, no,
okay.
But they played a full season, they got 100 cents on the dollar.
Right.
But there were still losses. The owners did not get 100 cents on the dollar last year because most of them had empty stadiums or mostly empty stadiums. So the owners took a loss. The game took a loss. If they didn't do the deal last year to spread the losses over 3 years, the salary cap this year, I was told last week, would be in the range of 160. Could you imagine a drop from 198 to what they thought was going to be 208 minimum down to 160. That's what they were looking at. So they've spread it out over multiple years. And yes, the money will be there. This is where the BS that's been thrown out there to prop up the Cowboys getting a raw deal because they allowed themselves to misjudge the room with Dak Prescott falls apart, because for now, we know that there's going to be money in the future. For now, there isn't. For now, they're recovering. And when you have a business model, Chris, that's premised on sharing the money that comes through the cash register, in the unlikely event that there's a year where less money than you thought came through the cash register, that's going to hurt the employees. And yeah, it's less, more money's coming, but for now it's not there. And for now the cap goes down, and it could have been worse, and it's going to take a few years to recover from it. So that's why we are where we are. Teams would, I'd say a lot of the teams would have rather had a much higher salary cap. They've got the money to deal with it. They've got the cash, and they know the future is going to be a lot brighter.
Yeah.
But you got a lot of other teams saying, hey, this is the deal. This is the deal. This is the life we've chosen. We split the pie, and last year the pie wasn't very big. That's the pie we split. Doesn't matter how big the pie is going to get in the future.
Yeah, okay, I know because I know I feel like I've heard those rumors too, that certain teams are just like, man, I wish it was, close to what it was last year, whatever. We could have handled it. We're not in that problem. Now, I don't know. You're right. We don't ever hear about the teams that, go, oh, we have major cash issues or things like that. I don't know who.
There's another category.
Right.
There's a category of teams that planned for this,
right,
and saw what was coming and would otherwise have the cash, but they see a competitive advantage in having the cap low,
aka
because
New England.
They were ready for yes.
Yeah.
If it was 198, we'd be fine. But it's 182.5, we'll be better because we saw this, we anticipated this, we planned for it, and there's a way for the Patriots to be in better position relative to their competitors. That's part of this too. That's the third category. You got the haves, you got the have-lesses, and then you got the haves who are happy to have less for a year because it helps them in their short-term objectives to establish a winning program.
Let me ask you this. How do you envision the start of free agency this year, right? Usually we have those first 2 or 3 days. That first week is the big money week, right? Where it's just every day we got 3 or 4 big contracts and marquee players, and it's awesome. Do you think it's going to be the same this year? I mean, just to me,
yes.
You do, huh?
Stars are still going to get paid. The stars are still going to get paid.
But it's the second
we saw
and third
10 guys
level
get
guys?
franchise tagged. It's the mid-level guys that are going to get screwed. You're going to have and see what's going to happen is there's going to be more guys who think there are stars than there are stars.
That's a good point.
And there's going to be guys with expectations, and their agents are pumping up their heads about, oh, boy, how about this? Oh, you're going to get – and then you find out it's not there. Now, the agents need to do a very good job during this tampering time, illegal for now, legal next week, to know what their guys are worth so they can set their expectations so they're not stunned when the numbers aren't there. Hey, I've been talking to some of these teams. It's just not there. You got to be ready for this. It's not going to be. I don't see it coming. You got to tell them now so they're not floored next week when they don't get their big offers. But I think the true star players are going to get a significant offer, or 10 franchise tags wouldn't have been used this year.
Yeah.
You don't use those franchise tags if you think the guys are going to walk out the door to some gigantic offer, or if they're not going to walk out the door to some gigantic offer somewhere else. There's no reason to use the franchise tag if you don't fear that. So I think the stars will get paid, and there always is going to be a team that makes a business decision, not a football decision, to go out and grab that guy on the first day of free agency, to sell tickets and sell jerseys and all that stuff. So that's how I think it's going to go. I'm interested to
see how this plays.
Guys in the middle are going to get screwed. That's what's going to happen, and they need to be ready for that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.